Hi
It's been a
everyone.
while. Listen,
Hi.
so let me introduce you really quickly. Lisa's got a quick hit
Okay.
reset here. The other Lisa.
Okay.
So let me just quickly introduce you to everybody again. They all know you who you are, of course. Um, Hey, you guys, look who's back. Lisa Ling, our favorite. She is on OWN, of course, America's Art America with Lisa
That's
Ling.
right.
She was here last time talking about the show, of course, with some exciting things coming up on the show. And if you were watching the whole Lance Armstrong interview, like all of us, all we would see in the commercials are like these half naked
I
people
know.
and leather and whips and licking boots and
The
then
whole
you.
season, the whole season is not like that.
Okay.
That was definitely our sauciest show, which happened to be our premiere episode. But the rest of the shows in the season are they're riveting, but they're a bit more sedate.
Okay, all right,
A
but
little less
I'm,
sexual.
I'm dying to talk about the details of that. But of course, I'm also dying to find out how she's feeling because Lisa, I know you can't tell. I mean, you would never know looking at her, but she's almost due to have her baby.
Let's see,
Well, in
can
a
we
few
tell?
weeks. Can you
Can we
tell?
tell?
Hardly. Look at that. Is she
Hardly.
kicking and
Oh,
Wow.
moving around?
she's an absolute lunatic who keeps me up all night long. I mean,
Oh,
it's nonstop. I mean, from the first moment. I mean, I feel like it's just been relentless, and it's
yes.
particularly uh, intense in the middle of the night when I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to sleep. So
Oh
that's been
my
the one kind
gosh.
of downside of pregnancy is just that the
I
constant lack of sleep.
and it doesn't change either.
Yeah.
Okay, now we just lost a little bit of our lighting, so hold on. Let me see if I can adjust that. It doesn't
Okay.
look bad, but see. All right. Well, maybe we'll just have to go without it. Oh well, it doesn't look too bad though.
No,
It's
it's
kind of like mood lighting. It's
yeah.
okay, right, you guys?
Yeah, you're
By the
fine.
way, Lisa,
Yeah.
we've got Joe who's hanging out with us here. He is from Las Vegas right now. Wait, it's flashing. That's such a weird light today. Justin is in the UK. He's in Brighton. We have
Hi.
Kim, who is hanging out with us from Kansas City. And Renzo, where
Hi.
did you go? Renzo is in Venezuela, so he's there somewhere, but
Wow,
he
we've
may
got a
pop up.
global panel.
We do, and then we may see a couple of other faces pop up here from all over the world. But I do see you hanging out with us from all over the world from on YouTube. So thanks so much. Make sure you plus and comment, please, and like us because you know we love that. And share the link. And if you have a question for Lisa or anyone, tag me or anyone in the Hangout. We'll try to get them to Lisa. Okay. So yeah, no, the lack of sleep is going to continue, as I'm sure your friends have been telling
Yeah,
you.
I think I think my unborn daughter is just preparing me for what the future has to what the future holds for me.
Oh,
But
I can't
I
wait.
can't complain because I've actually had a very fortunate pregnancy. I didn't have any morning sickness. I
Uh-huh.
traveled for
Oh,
11 weeks
good for
straight, you know,
you.
working on my show. So I've been very lucky. So
Now, were you pregnant when you did the taping of all of
not all of them, but
the
most of them. Most of them.
wow?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
So hence the baggy clothes. I mean, you know, listen, I'm someone who always wears very baggy clothes, so I don't think it was that different in terms of how I looked. But yeah, I worked through the whole thing. I also shot a whole primetime reality series for CBS that's starting in a couple weeks while I was pregnant
I'm
as well.
assuming you're
So
going to slow it down a little bit.
yes, I will definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
If you guys have any questions for Lisa, you know, just get my attention.
Question.
Yes, go ahead, Kim.
Hey, Kim.
um, I love the fact that you get to interview people that you find very interesting. And the last time you were here, I asked you the question, what type of people do you find interesting? The question I have this time is a little different. Of the people that you've interviewed, who are some of the people that you wish you could go back and ask additional questions of or re-interview them?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I think that for our show, we get people to just trust us so much, and they know that we're not going to exploit them or sensationalize their story. And I have to tell you, even though I have the luxury of producing these hour-long episodes of television, I could spend so much more time
I
with all
know.
of
I
these
bet.
people. Yeah, because I think the reason why I'm fairly decent at what I do is I just find
Lisa, you're
everything I do interesting and
wonderful.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
It's that natural curious person in you, right? You're
I
naturally
think so. I've
curious.
always been that way, and so it's hard to give you one answer to that question because for so many of the people that I've interviewed, I wanted to spend a lot more time with them, you know, and I've actually stayed pretty close to a lot of the people that
Is that
we've
right?
met through this show because it's a different kind of show in that people really come to us and share their deepest, sometimes darkest, secrets, or they share with us things that they don't even share with their own family members.
You guys have a question. What I appreciate about your show is that when it aired on Oprah, these are stories that need to be told, and often when they're lost in a newscast or people don't hear them, but because you have such a platform on either Oprah show or National Geographic, I get to see them, and they're riveting to me. They really are. They're riveting.
A lot of the topics that we take on are very serious ones, but we do so in a way that I think people still find entertaining. I mean, it is television at the end of the day, but I feel lucky to be able to do these kinds of stories because our show really is unlike any other show that's on TV right now.
I love it. Kempton, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Lisa. I joined late, so I don't know if this is cut already. But I heard from Maria's promo that the show is about sex and sometimes kinky sex. So I want to ask you: are there some really kinky sex that happens to really ordinary people that you, when first look at them, you wouldn't expect that? Really, they do that? and what was that?
I know what you're saying, Kevin, because we have this image of like the people in the nudist colonies. They're all big and they're kind of, they're not the supermodels. But in these cases, are they stereotypical?
Well, my show, Our America, is not just about sex. It happened. No, but it happened to be that this first episode was called Shades of Kink, and we did it on the heels of the 50 Shades of Grey. Meteoric success. So that's why we did it. I mean, it was so shocking because most of the people who engage in the lifestyle that I met were just everyday people.
Yes.
I met a lawyer and a secretary and a guy who is an IT consultant. People that you would never, if you were walking by them, think they were involved in this lifestyle. And what was most fascinating about this particular episode about kink and BDSM is that sometimes sex isn't even involved. It's just a way for people to express a part of their persona that they aren't able to express, in the outside world or in the normal world. So that actually was really fascinating to me.
That's really interesting. I know we had actually started talking about this the other day, unbeknownst that you were going to be here. We started talking about your promos, and I was like, oh my God, these are like normal people engaging in.
And there were a lot of promos during the Lance Armstrong interview, and I think when people see this lifestyle, they think of it in such a severe way because what you're seeing is sometimes a little bit hard to watch. People who derive pleasure from being humiliated or having pain inflicted on them. But there's such fascinating psychology behind that. When you really stop and understand why people do what they do or why people think the way they think, it becomes a lot less black and white, and more understandable. And the world is very complex. And one of the things I'm proud of with this show is we sort of explore the psychology behind why a lot of people do what they do.
The whys. Joe, did you have a question?
Yeah. Is there one person or one topic that you're dying to do that you haven't done yet that's just been on your bucket list?
Well, for my show, Our America, the one show that I've been wanting to do, we actually do this season, and it's going to air next week. Tonight's episode of Our America is about the childhood obesity epidemic, and it's a powerful show that I hope a lot of people watch because 1 in 3 American children is overweight and 1 in 6 is considered obese. But the show that's airing next weekend is a show called Secret Lives of Seniors. In America, and Kempton, I'm not sure if the same is true in Canada, but our population is aging pretty drastically. The baby boom generation is
bigger and bigger
embarking upon seniordom. Yeah, and for me, seniors are living resources, and in America, they're so often ignored. And so we're doing a show about my sister and I and our what we're doing about our dad because he's starting to become very forgetful. But we're also exploring the lives of different seniors in America, and we're seeing how they're dealing with aging. And I attended a Sex Over 60 class in Boca Raton, Florida, which was
Sex Over
amazing.
60. There's a class.
Oh,
what did you learn from?
Well, let's just say, without getting too specific, that I found it to be very inspiring and that we could possibly have a lot to look forward to in our senior
year. Interesting. I know. I watched the Golden Girls, I mean, those girls were had it going on.
More than Golden Girls, yeah.
Betty White is 91 years old. President Carter is embarking upon 90s.
Right.
aging is not what it used to be, you know, and people
No.
are finding their senior years to be in some ways a second lease on life, which is really inspiring and exciting. And they're getting the groove on
Are there
a lot of these
a
seniors,
lot of
as I learned.
Viagra talk in the senior segment?
There was a lot of Viagra talk and a lot of talk that, let's just say, I never expected I would have in a senior community. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Now, are you? I would imagine you're going to change your focus a little bit with the new baby, and I'm wondering if there will be a twist more towards parenting or issues that would pertain to children, maybe, or babies,
You know,
or infertility or fertility.
There may, but
There may.
I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot out there right now about parenting and motherhood and you know, fertility issues. You know, I think we're going to still continue to do the same kinds of provocative shows that we've always done, and I hope we're able to continue doing it.
They're saying hi to us.
Oh,
Hi.
I hear myself.
I
I hear
know.
my name.
I think they're calling you
Okay,
now. So
sounds good.
I'm so sorry, guys. You're one of those people that
Justin has the question. Oh.
because
No, that's okay.
I like to live vicariously through you. You know, traveling around and seeing all of the world.
Thanks. So
Will
thank you
Will you
guys.
take a quick photo before
Yeah.
you go? Here's the camera right here. Okay. Cheese.
Not big.
Thank you. If you want to continue,
Thanks a lot.
I'm going to talk more on the set, of course. myfoxla.com if you want to stream it. Okay, you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Get
stopping
kinky.
by. Yeah, get kinky. That's how you got
Thanks
into
a lot.
trouble. Now,
Yeah.
you know, nice to
See
see you.
you.
Bye.